Like I've seen some of this. I think I haven't seen the full video, but we're gonna react to this right now. See what's going on. Like he's starting like just by reading this. For 250 years, Americans governed ourselves as a free sovereign people. I think that's a great start to what's going on here. And here we go.
For 250 years, Americans have governed ourselves as a free and sovereign people. We choose our own leaders, we determine our own laws, and when we're accused of a crime, we stand for judgment before a jury of our own peers. This is the essential and indispensable feature of our form of government.
Okay, I wanna touch on something here, right? Because people are gonna say, well, if you are only accountable to yourselves, how would outside forces be able to get justice, right? How would an outside force get justice when you do ill? And I would say to that, who is more just? Like we have jailed our own soldiers when they do some bad actions. We have settled disputes, very fairly, uh, by my understanding. But is Russia more fair? Is China more fair? Who is more fair? Is the UK or Germany more fair when they settle foreign disputes? Right? So our own citizens will not allow us to abuse the outside world. Our own citizens would have a field day if we did evil around the world. And this has been the case with WikiLeaks. This has been the case with, trying to think of another case. Oh my God, I forgot this guy's name. The kid. Okay, let me look up his name. Edward Snowden. That's the guy. This has been the case with Snowden. We looked into our own policing, how we interacted with other nations, how like this is something that we keep very much. Yes, Snowden, the chat knows. This is a very smart chat. Yes, a couple of you in the chat, Effie and Physengicist, which is physical engineering physicist engineer. That's like a. I wonder what you do. That's like you're into physics and engineering. Okay. I respect science. But I would add that, that who is fairer to the outside world than America? Physicist and engineer. Okay.
Is the foundation of our shared way of life. But today, powerful people in faraway places want to take that away from us.
Last time that happened, we went to war. In fact, we've done it twice. Like 2 times. Because there was the War of 1812.
They believe that they should be in charge of your laws, of your country, your life, and they don't care whether or not you agree. Halfway across the world, there's an institution that calls itself the International Criminal Court. Maybe you've heard of it, maybe you haven't. But chances are you don't know the names of its judges, of its prosecutors, or its president. And you shouldn't have to. But as we speak,
yeah, we don't have to know who the fuck you are. You're not in charge of us. As we speak, the ICC and friends are waging a war. Let's see.
The ICC and its friends are waging a war against our country, not with bullets or missiles, but with statutes, and compacts, and the force of so-called international law.
I don't know what this means. Are they saying that they're going to sanction us? Like, who are they going to sanction that we wouldn't sanction right back? Like, we already went through this with the tariffs. Like, people tried to tariff us back. That lasted about a month. Like, within a month, they were all bending the knee. So I don't know who thinks they're going to tariff us or make some compact and make some kind of side deal, side hustle, side group that they're going to do some shit. BRICS have been trying this shit for like, I don't know, 20 years, 30 years. They can do all the little accords and things they want in the international law, but that's not going to matter.
When the ICC was born 24 years ago, they told us that it was merely a narrow backstop, a global court that would step in to prosecute only the gravest offenses, things like genocide and war crimes, and only when a nation's courts were unable to prosecute.
Okay, only this is very important, and only when a nation's courts were unable to prosecute them on their own. Okay, I see. I see where this is going. Oh, okay. What are we saying here in the chat? They ordered the arrest of Netanyahu too recently. Suspect. Did they order the arrest of the leaders in South Africa that are calling on the genocide of the Afrikaners? Right? Because if the Gazan situation is the standard for genocide, then the situation with the Afrikaners and the Christians in South Africa has met and surpassed that level. So is justice blind, or is it bought with oil money by jihadists in power?
Execute them on their own. But the truth is, it was something far more radical and extreme. It was a global tribunal staffed by unelected globalist bureaucrats.
Oh, wait, let's go back a little bit. Well, a global tribunal staffed by unelected globalists. So there was no election? Who put these people in power? I wonder. Global tribunal. Who are these judges? How does this thing work? I think I'm going to try to find it if I can, and maybe check it for tomorrow or another day. See if I can find like some kind of oversimplified video of what the International Court is and how its its judges are elected and all this kinds of shit. Yes, we do elect judges in the US. Yes, that's absolutely true. That's one of our problems when judges don't follow the law. Of course, we elect judges. Yes. There are judges that can be appointed, but that's the Supreme Court, and they get a lifetime appointment so that they can't be swayed by elections. Like the reason that in the Supreme Court, first of all, the Supreme Court does not decide cases, right? It kind of like sends them back with a verdict. It says, okay, you're appealing this to the highest court, and we say this appeal is constitutional or isn't constitutional. So go back to your court and revise this this decision as proper. Like they just give like a constitutional instruction on, look, the ultimate law is the Constitution. We interpret the Constitution to apply thusly to this appeal that you have brought. Right. And the reason they aren't elected more often, right, they're not swayed to it, they get a lifetime appointment, is because if you have them be chosen every 4 years, that's a problem because they'll bend to local sway and timely sway. Like what is popular today might not be what is a correct interpretation of the intent of the law and the letter of the law. So that's why. Yes, everything was okay with the family, with the letter of the law, and that's the problem, right? We have to understand that our judges, yes, they are elected. It's the people who decide who rules over them, and not only that, when we have lots of cases, they are decided by juries, and juries are just peers, right? So the judges, in many times, you can ask for a judge to rule, or you can ask for a trial by jury. You can petition that. So that's a lot of what goes into it. I don't know. Don't. I don't know where you guys live. Don't you guys get to elect your judges? Because if you don't get to elect your judges, that can't be a problem. We have some appointments, but if we don't, if the judge isn't elected, Same thing for the prosecutor. You have a chief prosecutor, which is your district attorney. That's also appointed by the by vote, right? So let's say people vote for a district attorney that doesn't want to prosecute illegal aliens. That is a problem, right? That is a problem, but it's a problem that has to be dealt with by a higher court because it is the people that get to choose that. So, you can do that, but that district attorney can't infringe on the civil rights being constitutionally granted, right? Okay, so you may not want to prosecute X or Y crime locally, but if not prosecuting that crime causes a civil injustice that goes against the Constitution, then the feds can step in. That's kind of how that works out. Am I being clear about this? Do you guys understand? And I'm by no means a person who studied the law. This is just your layman understanding of how the law works, right? Basically, you can't go against the Constitution. You do have a lot of leeway on your local laws. You just have to make sure that those local laws don't break the constitutional law. And the constitutional law is basically freedom of speech, the right to defend yourself, you know, the right to own and defend your property. In some places, I would argue that the local laws aren't constitutional, that you're not allowed to defend yourself, to keep and bear arms. And that's something gets argued a lot at the Supreme Court. Yeah, the Obama and Biden judges, some judges, I think it might be at the federal level, get appointed, but they get appointed by people who are elected, right? So you elect this person by popular vote and by electoral votes, all right? Like you got to do electoral votes if it's president. So he gets voted in, he gets to pick some judges. But you can't have every single post in the government be filled out by vote. That would be like you'd be voting all the time, right? And you'd be having to, follow 20 campaigns to even know who these people are. So when someone is voting into power, one of the powers that is voted into is the power to appoint some judges at a federal level. But when it comes to states usually have elections for judges and district attorneys. And this is another thing, it also changes state by state. The appointed justice is to have to be confirmed by Congress, though. Yes, that's another stopgap, right? There are confirmations that you have to go through, so it's not just one-sided. When you have Congress, that's a lot of people that have to also approve of these judges. Usually, they just say, okay, fine. That's what usually happens. When it's a Supreme Court judge, the test and the hearings about it and I would say the job interview is a little rougher. Like it's a little more public and contested because of the long time that a Supreme Court judge serves. But the point is that the people who rule over you, like the people who are the judges, have to go through a lot of safeguards so that the people are represented when they get put in their positions. Like a local, state, or county judge and sheriff and district attorney has to go through a vote, right? A federal appointed judge has to go through Congress and they have to be selected by someone who was voted into power. That the Senate is slowballing this, right? They're slow rolling that, there is some bullshit going on, and that's that slippery slope argument that I say, man, just fucking do it because we're at the bottom of the fucking slope. Anyway, I've gone into a bit of a tangent, but I think it's an important tangent because as I understand it, like 50% of the audience is international. So you guys might not even know this, right? So I want to make sure that I'm cognizant enough to let everybody understand that what's going on here, right?
It was a global tribunal staffed by unelected globalist bureaucrats who claim their power is almost unlimited. The danger of this global court has only continued to grow. Today, it threatens every aspect of our political and legal system. Border Patrol agents removing violent criminals from our country. American Marines risking their lives to defend our homeland. Prosecutors working to dismantle terrorist plots to attack and kill Americans.
Okay, so what we don't want is an international court to interfere with the people he just talked about. Like he just talked about American Marines, Border Patrol, and prosecutors being put on list because they're doing their job, like so, like safeguarding the border. That's their job, right? And is some court on the outside gonna say, "Hey, you can't"? Oh my God, look who's here! Hey, how you doing? Hope you're well. Hi, Shauna. Yes, like I was saying, you don't want the prosecutors, the Marines, the Border Patrol to be accountable to some outside court.
Prosecutors working to dismantle terrorist plots to attack and kill Americans. If we stand idle, all of them would be at the mercy of foreign judges thousands of miles away, facing the constant risk of prosecution and even imprisonment for the so-called crime of defending their own country. The American people never agreed to any of this, and they never will.
Okay, so what we're talking about is the International Criminal Court going to go against us for ICE? Is the International Criminal Court going to go on against us because we go after some terrorist organization funding the wrong people and call it that it's racist or whatever, right? Our people, our Marines, our Border Patrol agents going on vacation suddenly get stopped by Interpol. That's the kind of problem we're talking about here, right? Can you imagine? You work ICE, you do your job, you're getting rid of some, you know, pedos and traffickers, right, and drug traffickers, and you're getting rid of the worst of people. But some international court, right? That's America's Latinos. Hey, man, Marcus Rubius, first of his name, hopefully going to be president one day. It's going to be the planet's Latino. But because leading the world, it is what it is, right? That's what America does. So the thing here is, we don't want those people stopped by Interpol. Can you imagine? Like you're a prosecutor, you're telling people, yeah, no, you got to go home. You can't stay in America. You committed these crimes, and fuck, you got to go. And then this prosecutor has his vacation. Oh, I'm gonna go on vacation to, I don't know, Mexico. I'm gonna go on vacation to Canada, and they get arrested by some international Interpol cop because of the ICC. You can't have that, right? So that's what we're talking about. So let's take it back a little.
Agents removing violent criminals from our country. American Marines risking their lives to defend our homeland. Prosecutors working to dismantle terrorist plots to attack and kill Americans. If we stand idle, all of them would be at the mercy of foreign judges thousands of miles away, facing the constant risk of prosecution and even imprisonment for the so-called crime of defending their own country.
That's what I was talking about right there.
The American people never agreed to any of this, and they never will. Read the words of our Declaration of Independence. We fought a revolution against a foreign power, transporting us beyond seas to be tried for pretended offenses. Independence is our birthright. We will never let foreign bureaucrats take that away from us.
I think it's pretty clear right there. Like, this is the problem. Like, we're not having other people judge, our actions through to their standards, to their elected or unelected officials. Like, that's not happening.
This administration will not sit by as the ICC and its allies seek to threaten our people. If they believe they can deprive us of our sovereignty, we will teach them the full meaning of American resolve.
All right. I think that was excellent. That's an excellent video. I think it really explains the reasoning of why we don't allow foreign powers to have any leeway or say into how our citizens are treated. I think we have fought 2 wars, not one, 2 wars, to prove that, and have even fought outside wars to help other people be able to determine their own self-governance. Like we didn't want Germany ruling over the UK and all of Europe, so we went to help them, right? We didn't want Imperial Japan ruling over all of China and Korea, so we helped them, right? They did attack us, so that might have edged us into it, but we do believe in self determination, and whenever we go against that is when that determination reaches outside the borders of a nation, which is why we have a bit of problem with Iran, because their proxies keep attacking outside of their borders. They attack us, they attack many people, and its expansionist aspirations are the problem. I think we're going to cut this video here. This is going to be the first reaction we have tonight. I do want to look at some other things though, because I want to see what this is all about. Let's see here. I want to make sure you guys can see this. All right. I don't know what this is. I have had some people send me some clips. This might send me a little bit into a rage. Not sure. It might. Let's read this out. ICC chief prosecutor says fellow ICC judges and UN officials face direct threats, including his family, over Israel-related cases. Okay, post the threats. Show Interpol. Have the people, like, what does that mean? Khan said 12 U.S. senators sent him a letter stating, if you target Israel, we will target you and your family. I want to see the letter. I don't believe him. Threats were followed by action, sanctions, frozen bank accounts, and travel restrictions. Well, that doesn't sound like a threat. That sounds like a fulfillment of an action. Like if it says we're gonna kill you, we're gonna torture you, that's one thing. But hey, you're interfering with local stuff and regional stuff, so you're gonna get interfered with, and that is followed by some action. I don't think that's a threat, homie. I don't think that's a threat. I think that's that's check and mate. I think that's an action taken. That's not a threat. A threat is when you're gonna do something. They did something. Let's see what's going on here.
Well, we see an increasing proclivity on the part of powerful states to use coercive measures. I've mentioned that there was an arrest warrant.
Oh, coercive measures. Wait a minute. So when you look at this piece of shit. Okay. Let me get this fucking straight, right? When you make threats to arrest Americans, when you make threats to arrest our allies, and you make arrests that if anywhere they go in the world, you're going to arrest them and you're going to lock them up. That's not a threat. That's not a threat, right? But when you get it done to you, well, then it's a threat, right?
This person sanctioned by President Trump in February 2025. And of course, it was quite lonely for several months. I was the only one.
Oh, okay. Lashes out and complains at the blowback. Oh, I see.
And later on, some judges and deputies, I think in about August, September, they were sanctioned. I just think it's unwarranted.
Unwarranted? Then why you put out warrants? So the guy that's putting out warrants is talking about stuff being unwarranted. If it would have been unwarranted, you know how it would have been unwarranted if you wouldn't put out warrants. If you don't put out warrants that you're gonna do some shit, then it wouldn't be unwarranted. What are you doing? You got problems with the genocide in Gaza? Then why don't you have problems with the genocide of the Afrikaners and the Christians in South Africa? Because you're a bunch of hypocrites, pieces of shit, and that's why your warrants are warrantless. So after you put out some warrants, you say, hey, they took my money. That's warrantless. Oh, that's our way of telling you, fuck your warrant.
People try to enter public service. Some do better than others. but to use the power of the state to coerce,
To use the power of the state to threaten the freedom of people with jail. That's what you're doing.
to intimidate,
That's what you were doing when you asked for the arrest of people, when you call people genociders, when you order the International Criminal Court to arrest people. You're the motherfucker that's doing the shit. It's like so much projection.
is deeply dangerous. We see this tendency to what's happening in some countries
Deeply dangerous for you, motherfucker. It's your fucking bank account.
domestically with prosecutors or attorney generals of previous administrations. We see threats against UN special rapporteurs like Francesca Albanese.
Hey, yeah, I don't give a shit who that fucking bitch is. Fuck around and find out.
Or judges of the ICC or myself. We see threats in the media about putting sanctions and targeted measures against other individuals who simply take a different view. And they don't in the
It's not simply take a different view, motherfucker. You're threatening arrest. You fucking lying sack of shit. You're threatening with arrest. What is an international criminal court? It's a criminal accusation. Unless your whole fucking court system is bullshit, that you're threatening with international criminal cases. And criminal cases are not the same as civil cases, right? Like the situation would be criminal, so it goes with jail.
most cases, at least in my case, and in the ICC, I'm sure, take a different view out of malice, out of bias.
You're the malicious one. You're the one that's biased. How is the standard for genocide so low in Gaza and so high in South Africa if you're not a biased sack of shit?
Or out of any antipathy to any people or person in the world. It's simply an exercise of responsibilities.
That's very irresponsible when you have different standards for different people.
Given that one has to look at the evidence and the law and apply the law fairly,
You have never applied anything fairly. That's the fucking problem.
equally, for example, in Palestine and Israel, as we did in Ukraine and Russia, as
No, you fucking didn't. You lying sack of shit.
equally as we're doing in Afghanistan and Myanmar, and the list goes on. And to cause pain is
Okay, don't start shit if you don't want shit. You can't start shit and then say, "Oh, it hurts when you hit me. It hurts so hard when you defend yourself." If you don't start shit, there won't be shit. But you want to start shit, and then you're like, "Oh my god, there is shit." If you don't start shit, there won't be shit. If you don't fuck around, you won't find out. Why are you being fair to Russia and Afghanistan is the real question. I don't know that they're being fair to Afghanistan and Russia. I mean, are they putting on an arrest warrant out for Putin? I would hope they are. Are they putting on arrest warrant for whoever the guy is that says he wants to kill the boa? That guy in South Africa, is there an arrest warrant out for him? Right? What is he talking about here?
not an unanticipated consequence, it's the desired outcome. Because you've seen from public sources, even before the current administration in the United States
Even before the current administration, what about it?
took office, 12 senators wrote, and they said, you target Israel, we will target you and your family.
Good. Keep fucking around. Keep lying about that fucking genocide. Genocide where your population goes up. Keep lying about genocide. You know what I don't like about these pieces of shit? These pieces of shit are like, you know what I like them to? Women who make false claims of rape. Because you know what happens? It makes women that go through real rape, it diminishes their standing. People who go through real abuse, when people falsely claim abuse, it diminishes the justice when there's real abuse, because it diminishes the belief in it. Like Me Too at first it was like, wow, some shit's going down here. By the end of it, it's like, oh my God, someone breathed on you wrong, and now you're so, oh, Me Too. You understand what I'm saying? Like there were some bullshit ass cases by the end of Me Too. And by the end of Me Too, believe all women became believe no women. We can't believe these bitches. And you know who did that? All the fucking false claims. And that's my problem with it. These fucking false claims. A real genocide is what is a numerical thing, right? Well, they don't have defining characteristics, because if they had defining characteristics, the much higher death rate in South Africa would be considered a genocide. But whenever you look at the statistics and you look at what's happening in South Africa, it's not a genocide. Why? It's white people, not because of the numbers, because if you look at those numbers, that's very high. If you look at the ratio of dead soldiers versus dead civilians in Gaza, that's not a genocide. The targets are obviously mostly not civilians. These are combatants. And what's going on in South Africa is very obviously an attack on a race and a religion, Christians and white people. And they're being targeted in a very specific way. So that's are the defining characteristics that are not being treated fairly.
You have been warned. That's almost a verbatim quotation. And so
Yeah,
one can say in
motherfucker.
this area, at least, they are truthful and they've made good on their promises.
That's right, motherfucker. That's right. Okay, let me see here. The problem with definition of genocide in the international law. Oh, so okay, is the destruction in whole or in part of a national, religious, tribal, or ethnic group. Okay, so I guess Hamas is committing a genocide in that case. In part can mean any war against any nation. Yeah. So the problem is these international courts go by some international definitions that are so loose that they can apply it to anything. If they have some kind of problem with definitions, they should redefine and seek to sit down and write the laws in a way that have some standards and metrics that can be applied equally to different situations. If you got some wishy-washy bullshit, abstract, oh my God, what's the word that I'm looking for? Ambiguous definitions to what is a genocide, that you can just apply it to whatever you want, whenever you want, and not apply it to what you don't want. That's the fucking problem. Oh, I'm sorry.
Because the court as a whole has been targeted, but I deprecate.
By the way, these comments on what their definitions is brought to us by Romancing the Trolls. Thank you very much.
It's undermining the moral authority of states. It is dividing the international community. In the end, it's bringing us closer to.
Fuck the international community. I don't give a shit what the international community thinks. That's the same reason I don't give a fuck what the international court says. Why do I have to give a fuck? They're divided? Good. Go to fucking divide yourself. Divide yourself. Unite yourself. Do whatever the fuck you want. Just don't fuck with me or my people. Because if not, you're going to see that our threats aren't threats. They're facts.
More and more conflict, because if we don't have the law, what do we have?
You don't have the law. You don't fucking have the law. I want to find a clip about international law. This is not on the list. This is something I saw myself. Oh my God, it's such a good clip. I'm going to try to find it for you guys. I think this is the one. I think this is the one.
No, I just don't think we have such a
Okay. Now I want you to look at this guy. Right now we're going into like that one pissed me off. The first one I like. The second one pissed me off. Now let's go into the third one. I think you guys are gonna like this third one. Now this
I'm
is
a
the
big
person that interviewed Armin. This is an excellent person. Let me drop the link to this person. Put it here. This dude's name is Haviv. Now Haviv did a great interview with Armin, right? And he's gonna break down some shit
Believer.
right here. Right? And he's gonna break down some shit right here. And we're gonna take a look at it, right? We're gonna see what he says about this.
I'm a big believer in international law. Some of you may know. I just don't think we have such a thing yet. We should have it. Humanity needs it. Law says to you, I will protect you. And because I will protect you, you have to obey me. There's a quid pro quo with a legal system. International law is just sort of what's commonly done and what's expected by people who are what? Who's the constituency that elects the legislator of
That you see the problem here? Who elects the legislator of international law?
international law? It's states signing treaties. And international law advocates ignore everything that doesn't fit. So, for example, the ICC, right, the Rome Statute that founded the International Criminal Court, well, there's a lot of countries that never signed it.
Very important. Very important. Oh, we have to obey international law. Okay, so who didn't sign it? You right? Who didn't sign it?
Of countries that never signed it. America, Russia, China, India. That's a lot.
Oh, so what the fuck does international law matter? If Russia, China, India, and the USA never fucking signed it, that means you can go fuck yourself with your fucking piece of shit court.
I mean, I saw this one analysis. 80% of the armies actually engaged in conflict in this world aren't members of the ICC.
80% of the armies, they don't obey the international law of the ICC court. So what are they trying to do here?
Anyone who thinks that they might have to fight a war doesn't join the ICC.
Exactly. The ICC isn't there for the people who fight the wars. The people who don't fight the wars want to make rules for the people who do.
Incidentally, the Arabs scream and shout about international law and Israeli violations of international law. There's exactly one Arab country that ever joined the ICC, and that's Tunisia.
Oh, let me see. Oh, okay. So when Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Oman, United Arab Emirates, when any of these fucking countries start crying about international law in Israel, they didn't sign up for the fucking court. Well, isn't that funny? Isn't that hilarious? So why do you guys care much? If you guys care so much for the ICC, why didn't you fucking sign up for it? Why? Turkey wants to be really angry at Israel because they're not following the ICC. So why didn't you sign up for it? Is Russia going to be very concerned about how the ICC condemns Netanyahu? Are they going to fucking sign up for it? Oh, I see. So you motherfuckers want everybody to obey a thing you didn't sign up for. Isn't that fucking funny? I love this Haviv guy. You guys got to see his interview with Armin.
So no Arab country believes in the ICC unless they have to talk about Israel. It's
that's how convenient. How fucking convenient. Tunisia is the only one that signed up. No other Arab country signed up for it. But we gotta obey it when they talk about Netanyahu. That's why the 12 senators said fuck you. That's why.
similar with the question of mass migration, for example, taking in Syrian refugees in the Syrian civil war. Germany took in 1 million. Why did none go to Saudi Arabia? Why did none go to Qatar? And the simple answer is Germany is a member of the Refugee Convention. All the Arab countries that demanded respect for mass immigration in Western countries, none of them are signed on the Refugee Convention.
Isn't that fucking funny? Isn't that fucking funny when they hold us to standards that they themselves don't have? Isn't that fucking hilarious? Isn't that fucking hilarious?
They don't actually believe in it. My point is that everybody still pretends like Qatar obey international law, like Saudi obey international law. They don't even pretend to.
Yeah. They don't even pretend to. They never signed it. None of it. None of it. That's why when people talk to you about international law, you should tell them to go fuck themselves. That is the correct answer. Yeah, no, but what about international law? Fuck you. Who signed? Who signed the international law? Give me the list. Tell me the country that's bitching about it and tell me if they fucking signed. I bet they didn't.
So international law can't enforce itself. It's just politics masquerading as law. Israel is dragged before the ICC because the state of Palestine joined the ICC. Mazel tov. 2 Arab countries out of 23.
Well, I wouldn't call it a country. Copy. I wouldn't call it a country. Palestine is a squatter nation. Okay, here's a representative states, parties meet. What states? That's the fucking problem. No states. That's, yeah, what state? Yeah. Okay. So what we have here is Grant is saying representative of state parties meet and provide management oversight for the court, including electing judges and prosecutors and approving the budget. What states? So the states that signed. Okay. So why do the states that signed get to tell the states that didn't sign what to do? Let me explain. They fucking can't. That's why Russia, China, like, okay, I want to make it clear, right? We're not angry at Grant for explaining how they structured. We thank him, right? Thank you, Grant. All right, but you know, yeah. However they can organize. Like you could have your little club, and your little club can declare anything they want, as long as that little club thinks that they can rule over other people. Then that's a problem because you're giving yourself power that you don't have to attack people in ways that you can't do. Yeah. Thank you, Grant. Appreciate you. So that's the kind of situation here. And I want to thank you guys for coming because the time slot that usually Liberty Politics and all the other channels go is much earlier. It's much for another side of the earth. And I'm trying to start a side, a time zone, start getting people in this time zone. So that here, my goal here is to get people on Liberty Politics and on the network at all times so we could go 24/7. We're just starting here. We want to keep that going up. I don't want to talk about numbers, but I want to talk about getting you guys to be on the channels all the time so that we have something on for everyone at any time. And thank you guys for being here. All right. Back to Javi.
3 have now joined the ICC, but the state of Palestine too. So international law can't enforce itself. It's just politics masquerading as law. Israel is dragged before the ICC because the state of Palestine joined the ICC. Mazel tov. 2 Arab countries out of.
I wouldn't call it a country, but 2 out of 23. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? Oh my God, they're so full of shit that if they sat on a stool, they would be redundant. Just shit on shit. Just shit on the shit. Sit that shit on a stool and it's redundant. They're so full of shit. 22 out of 23. And I would say that out of those 2, 1 isn't a real country.
23 have now joined the ICC, but the state of Palestine, nobody has the borders up. International law didn't save the Muslims of Bosnia. Bill Clinton saved the Muslims of Bosnia by ordering a bombing of Belgrade. Everybody was waiting around for international law to assert itself while 1 million Tutsis were killed. Nobody saved them.
This is the problem with this international court. Because what is you going to do to stop a genocide with what? A strongly worded letter, bitch? What the fuck is your international court going to do about anything? Yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm not trying to do that. I understand that. I'm not going to do that. Like the whole point of my existence is to show people that if you, Ellie, don't want to show your face, and that's why you have an E over your avatar instead of your face, that's your right. And we're going to hear you and we're going to hear your comment. And let's say you work in a place where you don't want to expose yourself, or you have family and you don't want to put them through the shit that they would have to go through for you having an opinion. We're going to respect that. And I am here to be your avatar and saying, you know what? I don't need you to dox yourself for me. Just speak your mind, and the facts of your word are going to weigh more than how you look. I made myself extremely humble, a monkey, a fucking monkey. How can I say that I'm above you, that I'm smarter, that I didn't make myself a fucking king. I didn't give myself a crown. I made myself a monkey. So just so you know, I'm not gonna show myself, and you don't have to do it either. All right, back to the
Right
video.
now in Iran, there was just a resolution at the UN Human Rights Council to launch a fact-finding mission. South Africa abstained. 30,000
Look at that. Let's go over that again. Like when it comes to international law, these people don't do shit. They don't do shit. They have their pronouncements. They send strongly worded letter. They're trying to get Interpol to work with them, but they can't actually do shit.
during a bombing of Belgrade. Everybody was waiting around for international law to assert itself while a million Tutsis were killed. Nobody saved them. Right now in Iran, there was just a resolution at the UN Human Rights Council to launch a fact-finding mission. South Africa abstained.
You see that? Why does South Africa want to abstain from a fact-finding mission into who is killing who? I wonder why South Africa abstained.
30,000 potentially dead in Iran. South Africa abstains from a fact-finding mission at the Human Rights Council. I thought South Africa is the great arbiter of whether there's a genocide in Gaza and whether the Jews are legitimate or illegitimate
Funny that.
in the land of Israel. The whole thing is fake. The part of the world that is democratic, maybe 30-40% of humanity lives in democracies, is a function of American power after World War II. It's a function of the American example. The Americans invented modern democracy. It's not a function of anything else. It's a function of democracies asserting themselves on the world stage. It's not a function of everyone pretending there are a set of rules that there never were. So only the good guys are limited by them, and the Chinese are never limited by them, or the Iranians or the Russians or anybody else. I'm a big
I love that. Oh my god, that fucking video is so good. Like I already gave you the link to Ask Haviv. This is the link to this particular short. I think it's good for you guys to have this. So if any piece of shit tries to talk to you about international law, you pop this sucker in and say, "Hey, take a look at this, bitch." Like you could use better language than I do. You could be nicer. You don't have to be a monkey about it. You know, a lowly monkey. But you could do that, right? There are tools that you have, and you can. No, I mean I'm putting the link in here for you because I'm not trying to be a replacement for Haviv. I want you to go to Haviv and see his interview with Armin. He did a wonderful interview with Armin. This is a wonderful clip that you can use. You guys should have it in your repertoire. You know, I'm getting on French on you. Have it in your repertoire, mon ami. Because I think it's a wonderful clip and it's a good video. So right now we're on our third video. I'm gonna give that a like. I'm gonna give that definitely a like. And let's see what else we got in store. Cause a homie, I got a homie that's sending me links to react to, and I do want to do that. All right. See what we got here. Oh my god, I think I know who this guy is. You guys know this guy?
Yeah, is it true that you?
I think this guy's name is Mehdi Hassan. You guys know this guy? I don't know if you guys know this guy. I think that's his name. Let's see what it says here. ICC prosecutor Karim Khan, Senator Graham told me this court is for Africa and thugs like Putin, not for democracies like Israel and the US. Well, you know what? I mean, 23 Arab nations, if you count Palestine, which has no real borders, right? So let's say 22 Arab nations, right? Which ones are apartheid? Oh, all of them. Is Israel an apartheid? No. Muslims can own land. They can be represented in government. They sit in positions high in government. So that's not an apartheid. Oh, but the other 22 are apartheids. Funny that. They have pushed people out because of their faith and their race. You know, if they are of the Jewish race or religion, they do get kicked out. Funny that. So when Senator Graham says the court is for Africa and thugs like Putin, not for democracies, I guess they're talking about every Islamic nation being an apartheid because they fucking are. But let's see what this bitch has to say. Let's see what's going on here.
For Africa and thugs like Putin. Is it true that US Senator Lindsey Graham said to you on a conference?
What is going on here? Okay, here we go.
Is it true that US Senator Lindsey Graham said to you on a conference call on May the 1st, 2024, quote, "This court, the ICC, is for Africans"?
Yeah, in fact, he went further. He went further. He said this court is for Africa and thugs like Putin. It is not for democracies like Israel and the United States of America.
Funny that. So he's talking about autocracies.
What did you say?
Okay, we got some information on here. Sometimes people within our audience get to see more of the landscape than we do. And Shauna, let me put on a smile for Shauna, because I love Shauna. She's my homie across the way, sister out in in the heartland. He says retarded stuff all the time and makes rounds across right-wing media because of his retarded. Okay.
I listened to what he and some other distinguished members of the United States Senate had to say. In fact, he went further. I listened to what he and some other distinguished members of the United States Senate had to say, and we were guided by the law in terms of what we had to do.
By the ambiguous law that doesn't correctly define what a genocide is. So you don't know if you can apply it to Gaza or South Africa. Funny that.
Because all of that came in terms of the context of him hearing that we may be imminently applying for warrants.
Oh, fuck around and find out. I think he did fuck around, and I think he did find out. All right, that one wasn't very long.
Is it true that US Senator Lindsey Graham said to you on a...
I'm going to see if I can find a longer reaction. I don't know if I can count that. I'm going to try to find a longer clip into what's going on here. I have a place around here. See if I can find a longer clip. Okay. I'm going to go with this one. Yeah, this one's a little longer.
I'm going to read you some heavy criticism that you've received from the United States. As we know, the United States is not a party to the ICC, nor is Israel. Recently, when word came out that this may be happening at some point, U.S. senators and U.S. congresspeople, mostly Republicans, wrote you a letter signed
Mostly Republicans, right? Like, you see how she's coloring that?
by Senator Tom Cotton, Mitch McConnell, Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, and others. This is the quote.
Marcus.
Target Israel and we will target you. If you move forward with the measures indicated in the report, we will move to end all American support for the ICC, sanction your employees and associates, and bar you and your families from the United States. You have been warned. Is that a threat?
Is that an evil eye necklace? What the hell?
I think that's the plain meaning of it in English. But, there's hotheads everywhere, and there's people that are mature.
Oh, hotheads. Oh, I see. It's hotheads. Right. Trying to sanction over ambiguously termed crimes isn't being a hothead. Trying to, file for arrest because, like, as I understand, it's a criminal court. So they're trying to arrest you and put you in jail, right? That's not being a hothead. Right. The warning is being, okay, you're going to find out.
Statesmen and stateswomen and leaders. There are those that have fidelity to something greater than themselves, whether it's their constitutions, but ultimately it's the rule of law. Of course, this situation.
We are not ruled by your laws. This is the overreach. This is overreach. This is them reaching for a budget. I would call this them reaching for a budget. That's what I would call it. I think they're not getting enough money because not enough people signed up. The ones who did sign up probably aren't paying. right? Because China didn't sign, Russia didn't sign, America didn't sign, India didn't sign, Israel didn't sign. 21 Arab nations didn't sign. So who's left? They're not getting that money.
Unfortunately, lies on the San Andreas fault of international politics and strategic interest.
No, motherfucker, it doesn't lie on the San Andreas fault because that's in America and we didn't fucking sign. Get your shit off my fault, motherfucker.
And of course, I've had some elected leaders speak to me and be very blunt. This court is built for Africa and for thugs like Putin, was what one senior leader told me. We don't view it like.
Yes, because Africa very much likes to enslave people in the name of Islam, like they're enslaving Christians right now. Africa loves that. That's why it's built for Africa, because Africa was infested by collectivist Marxists that tried to spread their bullshit communism everywhere and has instilled in the people a spirit of envy and lawlessness and entitlement.
Like that. This court is the legacy of Nuremberg. This court is a sad indictment of humanity. This court should be the triumph.
The legacy of Nuremberg. Did this motherfucker win the war? Who won the war that allowed Nuremberg to have their court? Who did it? Who won the war? I mean, we didn't do it alone, but I'm betting those couple of nukes helped.
Of law over power and brute force, grab what you can, take what you want, do what you will, and we're going to simply be, we're not going to be dissuaded.
Okay, so we're getting some insight here. Nigeria is holding down the fort on capitalism, individual, and Christianity. Look, I do want that to happen, but the problem is they may be surrounded by these. Let me put on a smile for Shauna. Oh my God, I don't want to. Hey, happy monkey. All right, that I have hopes, and I hope that because of that they become able to prosper. It's so in such a way that they have the ability to defend themselves and get good weapons and make good deals with neighbors close and far. But things are tough in Africa. What the hell? Why is it not showing volume? I don't understand why the end of this clip.
We're not going to be dissuaded.
Whatever he said here at the end, Christina
We're going to simply be
edited.
We're not going to be dissuaded.
See, she muted that. This is on her. This is her. This is her. She muted that part. I wonder what it says. Suspicious. Very suspicious. Now, this is an angry clip. I'm going to end with, let me see if I can find a happy clip. I think I do have a happy clip for us. Let me wait. I think let's close this. Oh, thank you for retweeting me. Let me see over here. Okay. Let me see how long this one is. You see, here's the problem. Some of these clips are so short that I can't, it's hard to use them. Let's see what he says here.
I've never been more worried about our people than I am right now. What they're doing against Israel reeks of politics, and the system at the ICC is corrupt at its core. How in the world can you legitimize the work product of somebody you believe needs to be investigated before the investigation's done? How can you proceed against a nation who's willing to talk to you before you hear their side of the story? So I will not let this go. I've never been more worried about.
I'm gonna try to find a longer clip because these clips are just very, very short. This one is by someone that says that hates Lindsey, but I think Lindsey is gonna say something.
Are going to help the ICC as a nation enforce their arrest warrant against Bibi and Gallant, the former defense minister. I will put, if you are going to help the ICC as a nation enforce their arrest warrant against Bibi and Gallant, the former defense minister,
If you are going to help enforce, okay, this is very clear
I
language.
will put sanctions on you as a nation. You're going to have to pick the rogue ICC versus America. So to any ally, Canada, Britain, Germany, France, if you try to help the ICC, we're going to sanction you.
Well, that means I want every ally. And you saw little Justin in Canada and his position. What should the penalty be?
We should crush your economy because we're next. Why?
Yes. Oh my God. This is why I love him. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.